We are joined from Austin, Texas by our friend, Bloomberg political analyst, Matt Dowd. Matt, always good to see you. And look, I mean, does Mitt Romney pretty much have this nomination sealed after the win last night?
I mean, it's getting really close. The fat lady's warming up, and I think she's going to sing. She may not be able to sing till May or June, but I think it's getting closer and closer. And last night's Illinois win, it's without caveats. Many of his other victories had caveats. New Hampshire was a neighboring state. Michigan, his old home state. He barely won Ohio. But this one is really without caveats. He won it overwhelmingly. He won it well. And so I think it's beginning to be the end of this process. Why
do you think he did so well there?
Well, there was a couple of reasons, and if you look at the data on this, he's won every state where evangelicals were under 50% of the vote, and in Illinois it was better educated and less evangelicals, and that's where he does well. He's lost every state, interestingly enough, where evangelicals are over 50% of the vote. And then he had a huge spending advantage. I mean, huge. He outspent Rick Santorum in the Chicago media market 20-1 over the last 2 weeks. So all of that, I think, put Illinois away for him.
Well, and he did do much better against, sort of the moderates and the middle income, the middle class voters. And they're the ones historically, and even throughout this primary, right, Matt, that have been looking more towards November than they have been looking at just the primaries itself.
Yeah, he's always lagged support in some things, as you know, Betty, that he said and were off-putting to some of the middle-class or blue-collar Republicans, that some of the stuff he said about his own wealth. He is beginning to coalesce that group, and the number one reason they are voting for a Republican right now is, can he beat Barack Obama? That's what they care most about, and they have come to the conclusion overwhelmingly that that person is Mitt Romney.
Matt, I want to pull up some numbers that we have in a Bloomberg story about what who are the ones, particularly on Wall Street, that are opening their checkbooks to either Mitt Romney or President Obama. And it was interesting to find that the top Obama donors are Wells Fargo employees, J.P. Morgan, and then Goldman Sachs. And in fact, he's raised quite a bit of money from Wall Street. Does that surprise you?
No, it's funny. When you look, he's the incumbent president of the United States, and those people in New York have interests in Washington, regulatory interests and a lot of other interests, and they many times go with the incumbent, one. And two, since the economy has slowly picked up, Barack Obama's prospects for winning re-election have improved. And most of the time, the big money interests, especially out of New York, like to bet what they think is going to be more likely to happen. And so what you're seeing is an increased sense in New York that they think Barack Obama is beginning to not pull away, but beginning to look more likely to win than lose in this election. And that's what they're betting on.
And does that leave Romney struggling with Wall Street donors then?
Yeah, it'll leave him struggling with Wall Street donors, but I think one thing that can change that, as soon as he sews this up, I think what you'll see is the national polls reflect some momentum that he'll have, and this race will go competitive. Or I wouldn't be surprised come June or July that Mitt Romney takes the lead. And when he takes the lead, you may see some of those New York interests and the Wall Street interests start hedging their bets a little bit.
Okay, and it'll really be a two-man race. Matt, just quickly, I'm looking through some more numbers from various sources. And what they say about Obama is that he's raised about $161 million by the end of February, but has $85 million in cash in the bank. This time last year, or excuse me, this time in the last race, he had raised already $197 million, but had less than, I think, $40 million or so in the bank. So what does that tell you about the race that he's campaigning so far?
Well, last time he had obviously this huge titanic struggle against Hillary Clinton, and that took a lot of oxygen, a lot of things, and that caused a lot of the fundraising through June or July, and so a lot of it was that. So he doesn't have to spend money like he did, and he's not raising like he has no primary opponent. So every dollar that he's raising is going to be used for his general election effort all the way till the fall. And so that's like one thing. The other thing is there is a lack of enthusiasm for him amongst some of the donors that don't think he did what he said he was going to do. I don't think it's lethal, but there is some lack of enthusiasm that people got disappointed in him and not necessarily ponying up like they did last time.
Okay. All right. Matt, great to see you again. Matt Dowd in his hometown of Austin. There are Bloomberg political analysts.